Have you ever wondered what's inside of one of these hammer arresters that you put in your water line to absorb the shock of electronic valves opening and closing? I have this old one here, and I opened it up here with a cutter, and just to try and see what's inside and if it might have still worked. It's pretty old. On this side here, there's really nothing. On this side, there is a looks like a plastic piston down in there, but the piston looks like it's bottomed out into the depth of this tube, and it looks like it's got some corrosion in there. So to me, it looks like it's not going to work, and I'm glad I decided to open it up and check it out. I'm going to cut it a little further up in here and see if I can see more about this. It's pretty easy to do with this cutting tool here, because it's basically made out of copper, and so copper's pretty soft, so it's easy to cut. So, really glad I decided not to try to reuse this. There's no telling how many years this has been sitting in there and not working. Oh yeah, here we go. There's cut the top off, and it's got water in the top. You can see there's some water in the top, and a lot of black crud. Kind of hard to tell. I can't really tell if you're able to. And it looks like there is a plastic piston in there, but it looks like it's stuck. So I moved it out now. Of course, it's probably not gonna, since I've cut this with a cutter, the edge of the tubing is not going to allow that to come out. I'm going to have to deburr that in order to get that cylinder out. So hang on, let me go get a deburring tool. I'll be right back. Okay, so I went and got a deburring tool, which is basically a cutter here that's on a swivel, and it's designed for spinning around the inside of a object and cutting away the burr that is left by one of these cutting tools. So I'm going to try to remove that. You can kind of see the copper shavings coming out of there. All right, I don't feel any lip now, and so I can see inside that side, and on the back side it looks like it's just some black goo. I'm going to try and push it out from this side on this vise here. Set the vise up so that it catches the edge of the pipe, but not the center, hopefully. And let's see if I can push that right on the out. Starting to come out. There it is. Sort of looks like a plastic bullet with some rubber O-rings. Looks like it's got 3 O-rings in it. Like there's 1, 2, 3, and there's some goop on this thing. It's pretty nasty. Let's try and clean that up a little bit. Boy, this thing was failed. I don't know what all the black stuff is. Maybe grease. So evidently, the way this thing works, there's this this piece here is like a bullet, like a seal with 3 O-rings, and it's designed, it's mounted in this tube, and the tube has a end cap on it. And evidently when they install it, air is trapped inside of there. And so when water pressure is on this side of the side of the seal, it pushes against the air, and then this sort of flexes in and out depending on the water pressure. So pretty simple. I was expecting to have some sort of spring in there maybe, Because I wonder what happens when the air somehow gets past that, and then it's just all the way bottomed out and there's nothing to return it. So I think a better design might be something that involves a spring on the other side of this. So when these O-rings start to fail, the spring is pushing it back. And I guess it might work a little, maybe not quite as good when it wore, but at least it probably would still work. This thing totally was failed, and I'm glad I opened it up and took a look inside.